So there are two ways to find the slope of a line. Number one, slope can be found using rise over run. Usually, primarily, this is used when 2 points are given on a graph. So you see a line that is graphed, and you're going to use rise over run. You're going to figure out the vertical change over the horizontal change. When you divide the two numbers, you'll get the slope. Or you can use the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 formula. This formula is the same as rise over run. It's the same. But the only difference is you use this formula when 2 points are given without a graph. So primarily you would have a question that says find the slope of a line with these 2 points. And the 2 points are given, the coordinates of the 2 points are given, but there's no graph. So you could use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 for that. And both methods will give you the slope of a line. It should give you the same answer. So let's try to find the slope of a line using rise over run. So basically, when you first start off, you notice that you have a graph, so you're going to use rise over run. But first, I want to answer, does the line graphed have a positive or negative slope? And justify your answer. So the way we read a book is from left to right. So we read a graph the same way, from left to right. When we scan this coordinate grid from left to right, you notice that the line starts right here, basically, from your left to right. It doesn't start right there, but that's where it is. That's the first part of the line that your eyes glance on or over. So you notice that this line goes up from left to right. Since it goes up from left to right, you have a positive slope. It's a positive slope because the line travels up from left to right. If it traveled down from left to right, that means you would have a negative slope. And this line has a positive slope. So right there, before you do anything, you know that this has a positive slope. Now it says find the slope of the line graphed. So the first formula that you're going to use, and the only formula you're going to use for this, is rise over run. So when you use rise over run, you have to connect this point to this point, but you can't use this area, this line. So think of it as like this is your house, and you're going to your friend's house. But you can't walk along this street because there's construction on it, or something is blocked, it's closed, or something like that. You notice that each of the graph has like grids. So we could call those streets. So you can only go along the street. So you can't draw a line that is going across different streets. You have to go horizontal, which is parallel to the x, and then vertical, which is parallel to the y. So we have to take a street. So there are two different ways to do this. So if I draw a line like this, going across, I have to stop right here, because now I know that going across like this brings me over to 4, and then I could go up and connect to that point. And what I did was really effectively make a right triangle. So now, all you really have to do is count your lines. From this point, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what we do is we put a little arrow. We went to the right, and that's 10. It's a positive 10 because we went to the right. Going to the left would be negative. Now we're going to go up to get to that other point, and we're going to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, since we went up the y-axis, that's a positive 7. So our rise is this part, and our run is this part. The rise is always, we're talking about the y-axis, and the run is always along the x-axis. So the rise in this case is 7, and the run is 10. So that's our slope. It's 7 over 10. You can't reduce it, and you don't have to divide, only because it's usually in rise over, you keep it in rise over run format, just like that. All right, it's not wrong to divide it, but usually they don't ask you for those answers. They leave it in fraction form. So another way that you can do this and get the same answer is to actually go up like that and stop there, and then go over. And you notice that I'm just traveling along the grids on the graph, making your right triangle. So again, this would not be incorrect. Now you would go up 7, the same 7 that we put on the other side. This is still up 7. That's a positive 7. And then you would go to the right 10. So your rise over run would be the same. This is a positive 10. So your rise over run would be 7 over 10, no matter which way you would go. I don't suggest this, but you can count from the left, from going left. So this would be, if you counted this way, that would be negative 10. And if you counted down, that would be negative 7. So it would be negative 7 over negative 10, and negative 7 over negative 10 would be a positive. And that's how you would get a little bit confused going that way, because again, you're going from, you would go from right to left there. So let me just go over that again. If you went this way and counted, you would be going left. So if you go left, that would be negative 10. And then once you go left, then you would be here, and you would have to go down. And if you went down, that would be negative 7. So your rise would be negative 7, and your run would be negative 10. But since negative divided by a negative is a positive, you would come out to be, it would come out to be 7 over 10, which is exactly what you got the first time. And that's the video, finding slope using rise over run.